Hi, and welcome to Mrs. Hillebrecht's sixth grade science class. I'm very excited to have all of your students this year. So far, most of them are doing a fantastic job. I know some of the students are still struggling and frustrated, and we're trying to work through that as fast as we can. But I just want to go through a few things that would be helpful as parents to know for science this year. So here we are on the Canvas calendar. To reach my homepage, you can click on the little book and head to my homepage by clicking on the title of my course. And here we are in the title of my course. In science this year, we're going to be covering physics, earth systems, natural hazards, natural resources, cells, human body, and growth and development of organisms. And as we move from one unit to the other, I will be moving the blue link. The blue link kind of tells you this is where we are, move forward. So right now we're in the introduction to science. So if you were to click into Introduction to Science, you would see the daily breakdown of each of the days. So if you wanted to look at last Friday or Monday, you could click on it and it tells you what we did in class, what they should have done offline, and here is the Nearpod with all of the materials they would need to be able to accomplish that. Nearpod is kind of like a Google slideshow, except for that it's interactive. And when they reach the last slide, it automatically submits to me for me to grade. So if I go back to my homepage, again, at the top, you're going to find all my lovely co-teachers. We have Miss Lopez, who co-teaches with me period 3, 4, and 6, and Miss Hebe, who is my instructional aide for period 1 and 5. That means all of my classes have 2 adults in them helping the kiddos, which is just fantastic. And I'm so excited to have these 2 ladies. They are wonderful, wonderful. Next to that, you have our school schedule, the syllabus, which you can find out more about my class on. And then this link right here always brings you straight to my Zoom. So you can come click here. And then reminding them that my office hours are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 12:10 to 12:55. All right, so now we've covered how to know what we're covering and who's going to be in the class. These are also found on the calendar. So if you head to the calendar again, you would see that every day I provide the students on the calendar with a link to the Zoom and a link to that work table that you saw. And then also the Nearpod for the day. It's also on the calendar for them to grab. It's not just in that same spot. So the other really important thing for you to understand is how to check on your students' grades. So to check on the grades, you're going to head to my homepage. I'm going to move over to Student View for this part. And then on the left, you can click on Grades. Once you do that, you're going to get this huge list that looks really hard to look at because there's so many things. But here's the thing. Canvas, every single assignment I make in Canvas, which is everything because we're doing all virtual, goes into the grade book. That doesn't mean I'm going to grade it. So all of these assignments that have the little dash just means I haven't graded it or I'm not going to grade it. Maybe that I'm not. We don't know. But those are the assignments that aren't graded. So you don't need to worry about dashes. What you do need to worry about are grades below 70 and things that say they're missing. I'm pretty fast. I usually get these things in within the same day that your child has my class. So if you have a 50, there's 2 ways to understand why you got a 50. Number 1, you could look at the comment. See this little bubble over here? If I click on it, it says comment, please redo ASAP. And I'm like, okay, well, what did I miss? Well, if I click on the name of the assignment, it brings up what you submitted. So the Nearpods give me a readout like this. It tells me participation. This kid only participated in 67% of the activity slides. Quizzes and tests. At first glance, it looks like your kid got a 0. But since the class average is 0, you realize that there was no quiz. If there's a class average of like 80 and your kid got a 0, that means there really was a quiz and your kid actually got a 0 on it. Unfortunately, Nearpod just says you have a 0 if there is no quiz. Moving forward, you can see on slide number 1, which is an open-ended question, that you did not supply an answer. So you didn't do slide number 1. Slide 2 is a matching pairs, and it looks like it took you 11 tries to make 5 matches. So that's not a very good score. Then we have our fill in the blanks on slide 3, and it looks like on the fill in the blanks, you only got 1 out of 8 correct. So these are the reasons that you ended up getting a 50. So you can kind of look and see. The great thing about this is you can submit your work and come check and see how you did before I even get a chance to grade it, so that you can make sure you get the score that you want. The other thing you're looking for is missing. Again, you got this assignment right here, missing. So those are the two things. We're not going to worry about all these dashes. We're not worrying about dashes. We're only worrying about grades below 70 and things that say missing. So now you say, okay, well, this one's a 50. I need to redo it. And this one's missing. I need to complete it. How do I do that? So you need to know the title. So we know Science Nearpod 1. We can click on Assignments and find the title of this thing called Science Nearpod 1. Here it is. And when I click on it here, it's going to allow me to redo the assignment. Okay. So I feel like we've probably covered the most important parts of science. Typically, I do spend about half the class online with the students and then allow them to work on their own if they wish, or they can stay on Zoom to work together. So they don't have to get off and work alone. They can work with us. Typically, if your student has missing work, I am requiring them to stay on the whole time and helping them work on that missing work. So if you have any questions, the best way to get a hold of me is either to email me, or here's my Google Voice number right there on my homepage, 760-566-7592. You can call me on that number. You can also text me on that number. It goes straight to my phone. So when I'm in class, I can't really check my email, but my phone is usually sitting next to me. So if you want to text me or something like that, then you can go ahead and do it that way. Also, if it's after school hours, if you text me, I might have a chance to get back to you and help you with your concerns. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email or call me. I'm also going to be at the back to school night for all the 10-minute sections. So that would be a great time to come meet me and say hello and let me know if you have any further questions. I hope you guys are starting to smooth out and I hope that everything is becoming less frustrating and everybody feels like they're starting to understand the expectations in my class. Please don't hesitate to reach out to call or email me when you need this help. And I am looking forward to meeting everybody on Wednesday evening. Have a good night.